Hello and welcome to another Create Mod tutorial. Today we are talking about villagerless iron farms, and what I have in front of me are two different designs. We're going to be mainly focusing on this one. It produces 300 iron ingots per hour. It fits in a 6 by 13 by 5 blocks tall footprint and is drastically more efficient, gets more iron, and uses less stress units than most other tutorials that I've seen on YouTube. This bigger one over here produces double the amount of iron ingots per hour at about 600, is a little bit taller at 8 blocks tall with the same 6 by 13 width and length, and is more so just a proof of concept that you can double this with another set of crushing wheels and cobblestone generation and basically double the amount of iron that you're getting. So let's start with kind of how it works. You can see here that we don't have any drills at all. Instead, we have mechanical bearings, and I can show you here. What we do is we turn stone, wait for more to generate, and then it spits out stone onto the belt here. We use this so that we spend less stress units on drills and such, and we only have to turn this mechanical bearing every so often, so it saves a lot of stress units there as well. So I'm gonna run this smaller farm first. The bigger one works the exact same. Just to show you how it works, all you have to do is flick this lever here, and then you can see everything starts spinning up. When it's off, no stress units are used, so you can use it for other contraptions. While it's running, you can see here we're generating cobblestone. It's breaking, being placed on these belts, and then going into these crushers, into gravel, being turned into flint and iron ingots, and then crushed into iron ingots here. The flint just gets thrown out, but if you need it for something, for some reason, it produces an obnoxious amount of flint, so you can always just keep it in the vault or do something else with it. Once the iron nuggets are made, they're put in the hopper and put in this barrel. If this hopper fills up, it will turn off automatically, so there's no need for you to monitor it. You can run it overnight and keep it full and on for just all the time and take out iron when you need it. The same is true for the larger one. It's really pretty much the exact same structure. We just have to add more crushing wheels and more cobblestone generators. And again, once this barrel fills up and this hopper fills up, it will automatically turn itself off. So let's move on to the tutorial. We are building the small one in this video, but just as a reminder, I will have the schematics and world download for the bigger one in the description if you want to build that one instead. What you need for the small one are in this chest here. You can take a screenshot, do whatever you need, and then we'll also need a list filter to filter for, if I can squeeze in here, this funnel here, which will just make sure that the gravel doesn't get picked up. And then you're going to need flint and an iron nugget to put into this list filter. We also need quite a bit of lava and an infinite water source. We'll need 14 water sources in total, but I just have 2 buckets here because you could just make an infinite source. Also, to quickly talk about dimensions, for the small one, you need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 long space, and it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. So 6 by 13 by 5. And for the big one, it is pretty much the exact same footprint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 13. And it goes up, instead of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's actually not a ton bigger than the smaller one and produces double the amount of iron. So let's get started on building the small one. I'm going to start with the item vault, a barrel, and some hoppers. The item vault we are going to place here. Make sure they are all facing the same way, and they should make a 9 wide vault. And then just right next to it, place the barrel. Then we're going to place 2 hoppers into the barrel like this, and then we're going to need a basin, mechanical press, and a brass funnel. The basin goes in the perfect center of the item vault here. Then we're going to put brass funnels here into the item vault, here onto the basin, here above the basin, and right next to it right there. This bottom one should be facing into the item vault like this. This top one should be facing out of the item vault. This top one out of the item vault. This one out of the basin down into the hopper. Now you're going to want to grab your list filter and filter items and put in an iron nugget and flint into this. Then place that into the bottom funnel like this. Then we're going to place an iron ingot in this basin, iron ingot in this funnel, then iron nugget in this top funnel, and flint in this top funnel. Now, if you don't have iron ingots yet, you can wait to put these in until it makes a couple of them. You just have to grab that manually. After we put in all those, we're going to place the mechanical press on top like this and make sure the shaft is facing out this way. Then we're going to grab some building blocks and place them in an L shape like this. And then we're going to place a temporary block, a gearbox like this, a vertical gearbox like this, so that it's up and horizontal connecting to this gearbox. And then we're going to place another vertical gearbox here and a shaft connecting the two. You can then delete this temporary block. And then let's grab a lava bucket and put it under the flint funnel. Again, if you're not going to do this, just change this lava source to something else, like a chest or anything. Next, we're going to put a barrel against this gearbox with an andesite funnel going into it, like this. We're going to need a chute underneath this barrel and a shaft here going horizontal. Next, we're going to place two temporary blocks on this side, place a crushing wheel here and against this gearbox here. Should look like this. We can then delete those two temporary blocks, and with the shaft, we're going to build out 7 blocks total right there. And on that 7th block, we're going to put another shaft and then remove all these blocks and then connect it with a belt like so. We're then going to place the rest of these hoppers against the belt like this, 7 on each side. We're then going to place 2 gearboxes against the crushing wheels like this, connect them with a shaft like that. We're then going to place a leaf block between each of the gearboxes, fill it with water, and then place an encased fan behind it facing towards the leaf block with water in it. Then we're going to put 2 more gearboxes, vertical gearboxes, here like this, and then connect it to the belt with a shaft. Then we're going to place a gearbox behind the encased fan, 2 vertical gearboxes like this, and then 2 more gearboxes like that with a shaft afterward. Next, we're going to place a rotation speed controller here with a large cogwheel on top of it and set it to 256 clockwise. Then we're going to connect this gearbox to the rotation speed controller with a shaft. Next, we're going to place a clutch here to the end of this gearbox shaft combo. We're then going to place a cog and the final rotation speed controller underneath it. And then we're going to set this to 10 RPM counterclockwise. And this is where you're going to put in the power. So for me, I'm just going to put in a creative motor, but obviously you'll have to do a steam engine, windmill, whatever. Once you connect that, everything should be spinning. For me, for some reason, these belt textures aren't moving, but as long as this shaft is spinning in the correct direction, it should be going forward here, then you should be good. And you can double check by making sure this shaft is also spinning. And also check that this mechanical press is spinning at a reasonable speed, and that the fan, you can see, is blowing blue air particles forward. If any or all of these things are backwards, it is likely that your rotation speed controllers are backwards or you forgot a gearbox. So just make sure that these are all accurate before we move on. Next, we're going to move on to the circuitry to turn this whole thing on and off. So what you're going to want is the powered latch, redstone comparator, dust, pulse extender, pulse repeater, and redstone torch. And obviously the main lever to turn it on and off. We're going to need any building block in an L, upside down little L shape like this, and the lever in this corner. Then we're going to place a block right behind the lever with a redstone dust on it, with a powered latch right below it, redstone dust to the left here, and one more block there, and then a redstone comparator here, connecting to this hopper where the iron ingots are going to be going into. We're then going to put one more redstone dust here, and then a pulse extender here set to 2 ticks, a pulse repeater here set to 36 ticks, and then we're going to put a block here and here, 2 pieces of redstone dust here, and another pulse extender set to 2 ticks facing into this block. Next, we're going to place another block here that should be kind of diagonal to the clutch with a redstone torch on it. It's a little bit tough to get to. There we go. That should be powering the clutch and making everything here stop moving. Then we're going to put one more pulse extender here, set to 50 ticks, 50. And that is the circuit to turn it on and off. You can check that this works by flicking this lever. These should all turn on. There we go. This is now going, and this should go indefinitely. As long as this pulse extender is powered, it should work, and then when you turn it off, this should stop cycling, and eventually this will turn off, stopping the whole system. Next, we can get started on the Cobblestone Generator part of this. We're going to put a sequential gear shift here, and just leave it as default. It should be turned 90 degrees. Make sure it is input speed either forward or reverse. It doesn't matter. Just make sure it's not double the speed, and then have it set to end right after that. But the default should be that. Then you're going to put a shaft connecting that with a vertical gearbox, like so, and then a shaft, another vertical gearbox like this, a gearbox connecting it, so it should be right next to the barrel, normal gearbox, vertical gearbox, a second vertical gearbox on top like that. Then we're going to add a vertical gearbox on the side like this, so it is facing towards the hoppers, and then another vertical gearbox here facing inward, and then we're just going to connect these two gearboxes. Next, we're going to place two mechanical bearings facing towards the hoppers like this, and then we're going to put in the water and lava portions. So we're going to just need a temporary block here real quick, put a sideways stair to make sure that it turns into a little corner stair here. You can then remove this temporary block and then place stairs all the way along here until you get to the end where you have to place another temporary block and another corner stair like this. So it should look like a big old couch. You can then remove those temporary blocks and then do the same thing on the other side here. So temporary block on both of the corners, corner stair, connect these two, and there we go. These should look identical. And then you can remove those temporary blocks. Next, we're going to put glass on top of all of these blocks here. This can be any block. If you're not at glass block level yet, you can switch these with really anything you want. And then on the end caps here, you can either do glass, you could do any non-flammable block. So you could do like iron trapdoors or something if you want that. I know in 1.21, there are going to be copper trapdoors. You could use those too if you're playing in 1.21. But I'm just going to use glass because I think it looks pretty cool. So glass on the ends like that. And then we also need a glass block here. Then we're going to get half slabs and place them along the way like this. Should be right above the belt like so. And then we're going to put more glass on the other side like this. Next, we're going to put in the water. So just a heads up, you probably want an infinite source, but I'm in creative, so I don't need that. You're going to put water in every stair block. They need to all be sources, and they won't just automatically connect. So this block right here needs to be a source. So that's kind of what I mean. Just make sure all of these are source blocks, and they should all be flowing towards the center here like this. Then we can put glass on top of these slabs like this, and you should have something kind of like this. And we are pretty much done. Now all we have to do is put lava on top of the flowing water like this on both sides. Super glue them together. So you can see here that it is now stone. We need to super glue all this stone together so that the mechanical bearing can actually rotate it. So it's going to be hard to see, but if you right click that one block, you can confirm that it looks to be correct, and then just walk it along the edge here and connect it to the other stone block right there. And you can confirm that that works when you're holding the super glue. You can see underneath that there is like a super glue line here, and that's how you know it was successful. You're going to need to do the same thing on this side. So super glue, connect it over here, and then we can double check and see that the line is there and it looks to be fully connected. So that should be everything. Let's test it now real quick. Everything should turn on and cobblestone should begin to generate. And we have our first iron. And that is the farm fully finished. We are getting iron in here, and if yours works correctly, you should be getting about 300 per hour. So I hope this is useful in your Create series, and let me know down in the comment section any other farms that you want, need, think could be fun, and yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to like and consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.